Exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Trepidation, it's out there. I feel it. It's oozing on day 2 of April. All of yesterday's jokes are gone. Today's stories, you go back, you look. When was the timestamp? But some are rolling in, and it's making Jaguars fans nervous. Let me be the first to tell you right now. You should be nervous. You're a Jaguars fan, okay? I mean, my goodness, you've had to deal with this time and again and time and again, but why not trust the process? Why not buy in? The Hall of Famer, Tony Baselli, no one knows this football organization top to bottom better than Tony, historically speaking. James Gladstone, intangibly rich, finding people to come here and help the ecosystem while along the way raising the basement floor. And then Liam Cohen. More talk about Cohen. Sean McVay going off on Cohen at the NFL's owners' meetings, talking about Baker Mayfield, what he did with him in Tampa. And again, there deserves to be some credit to Mayfield the year prior. Had a very good year previous to Baker Mayfield in 2024. Okay, or excuse me, 2023. Certainly Will Levis at Kentucky. That was mentioned by Sean McVay. So a lot of really good things being said here about Liam Cohen over the last few days. So why not just sit back and trust what is going on with this football team? Yet it feels like as we get to 4 weeks away from the NFL draft, that'll be the case tomorrow, or is that it's actually 3 weeks away, right? It's the 24th. I think we're 21 days away from the NFL draft. The nerves are evident. Because it feels like the guy that you want, if in fact it is Travis Hunter, he's not going to be there. And Adam Schefter dropped the bomb a little bit earlier today, but I'm not sure why it has created the reaction in the city that it has. It's not new information. It's been out there for weeks. It's been out there for months. I think y'all understand that if Sanders is not selected as a quarterback by 2 with the Browns or 3 with the Giants, even though New York just went out and got Russell Wilson, New York went out and got Jameis Winston. Remember, the Wilson deal could be worth $21 million, but it's a Band-Aid. It's a 1-year contract. It should have no bearing on whether or not the New York Giants select Sanders if they think he is going to be a franchise quarterback. If not, then they're going defense, right? They're going to go Abdul Carter or they're going to go Travis Hunter. There's a bit of a conversation that they could draft one of the 2 highly regarded offensive linemen. But there's been this feeling over the last couple of weeks that Travis Hunter all of a sudden is going to fall to the Jaguars. And I think the way it was spelled out today by Adam Schefter, it was, yeah, but, and only under those considerations that both quarterbacks end up going in the top 3 slots. We know Tennessee's going number 1 with Cam Ward. That's all but done. All the right things have been said, and that is expected. Cam Ward is the most attractive player, eligible in this year's draft class. Much of that is because of the position he does play. I don't know if he's a can't-miss prospect. I'll tell you this. I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence waiting for year 5 than rolling the dice on Cam Ward or rolling the dice on Shedeur Sanders or rolling the dice on any one of these other quarterbacks. who are available for the NFL draft coming up in exactly 3 weeks and 1 day. But I just found that a little bit intriguing today. There were more mock drafts. Vinny Iyer came out and said the Jaguars are going to draft Armand Membu out of Missouri. I've known Vinny forever. He writes for the Sporting News. There was a 2-round mock draft done today by Field Yates at ESPN. Number 5, Mason Graham. Number 36, Trey Amos, the defensive back out of Mississippi, began his career at Alabama, then went to the Grove. And, you know, I see these reports, and it's like a mini heart attack for me. You know, I think I know a little something about the game. I have my opinion. I'm not going to change my opinion, but I see a national analyst get to the Jaguars and go defense. And it takes away from everything that I have said forever about trying to elevate Trevor Lawrence and take him to the next level. You have to do it with your resources on the offensive side. Again, I don't care what the set of circumstances are outside of this. I don't want to sit here in a year and still look at the Jaguars and define them as half pregnant because you don't know if their quarterback can play. You need to find out. And the only way you're going to truly find out is by getting better on the offensive line and by adding another wide receiver. Now, Travis Hunter's the exception to me. All right? There always is one. If it's Travis Hunter, I'm drafting him. I'm playing him at corner. I'm putting together some offensive packages. Let him get involved there. But you still have to go out and get another wide receiver with one of the 10 draft picks that you do have. And I say it all the time because I listen to you. That's why I throw out social media so you can get involved with the program. We go to you each and every night. I get it. You love. For some reason, you love what Field Yates has done, right? Oh, Mason Graham at 5. There you go. Everything is set. Start printing playoff tickets with Mason Graham at number 5 and then getting yourself another corner at number 36. Still a little confused by that, you know, after what they did with Lewis in the slot and Jarian Jones. Now moving to the outside, do they need a corner the way that they once did? I think that is available for a lengthy conversation. Nonetheless, we'll have that tonight with you, and as well, our first guest, Jeff Kerr, is going to join us in about 15 minutes. Enjoy what Jeff does with CBS Sports. Wrote about an 18-game regular season schedule. It's just a matter of when. It's going to happen. Health doesn't matter. It's about money. I know I've been on that tick for a little bit, but it's true. And I've noticed that no one has argued with me. No one has even come after me on that, which is totally opposite from my opinion on the NFL draft. Okay? Totally separate. But that's fine. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you not what to do. When it comes to Mason Graham, here's another thing that I think is unusual. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's unusual. Mason Graham getting set to visit the Patriots. Mason Graham getting set to visit the Saints. Not visiting here. Reportedly, and we've talked about it now for well over a week, the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of 2 teams that are not going to bring anyone in for a visit. Is it too much thinking here? Are they getting a little bit too cute? Or do you like the fact that they've done their homework? They know that this franchise is going to be based more on what you did on Saturday than what you do when we bring you in, take you through the Miller Electric Center, feed you, give you a really nice dinner, get you on the chalkboard, ask you whether or not you like a cat or a dog or whatever it may be when it gets to the interview process. That the most important thing for James Gladstone and the new hierarchy here is about what you did in college football. And if that's the case, you know what? I'm all about it. I think the former regimes were too invested in that. Too much with the testing, too much with the science. And that appears that is not going to be the way that this football team goes. And again, I think it's a breath of fresh air. Brian Callahan comes out yesterday. Of course, he's the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, and said, and I quote, "It's very realistic that Travis Hunter continues to play both ways. As a matter of fact, he could be a two-way star. That is one of your opponents. That is one of your rivals. That is in the heated AFC South." Brian Callahan coming up with those comments yesterday as well. Comments from Brian Daboll about a ridiculous amount of film study and how it's fluid and how you have to look at everything this man did offensively, everything this man did defensively, and then come up with what is really the best plan going to be for this guy. Mike Vrabel talked about it in New England. That could be scary. We know that New England is not going to get a quarterback. They have Drake May. Just went through the Sanders situation at 2-3. You need him to go to Cleveland, or you need him to go to New York, all right? You have to have that happen. And then if you want Hunter, you hope Abdul Carter goes ahead of you. And is it Will Campbell? There's still that need for a left tackle in New England. Doug Marrone is the offensive line coach there. You had Cam Robinson there for the taking. Doug Marrone said no. Doug Marrone reported to Mike Vrabel and said, hell no. You don't want him. And, New England just spent a ton of money on Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis at one time was rumored here. They gave him everything. So who knows? Maybe Travis Hunter doesn't fit into the plans for the New England Patriots. At this particular time, we still don't know the answer to that question. And for what it's worth, this past year, Travis Hunter, 753 offensive plays, 776 defensive plays, 23 special team plays for Travis Hunter. And I still think it's foolish to consider him playing on both sides of the football at 188, 190 pounds. He will get destroyed. If James Gladstone looked at you through the media during his press conference and said, we have done our homework and we believe that Travis Hunter is going to be a great wide receiver for this football team, I'd be all in. I'm not going to be a contrarian on the Travis Hunter pick. I am not. I'd play him at defense with offensive packages. But we're hearing others now tell us not so fast. Mark Ross last week, 11 years with Philly and New York, won a couple of Super Bowl rings with the Giants as a front office executive. He said offense. This continues to really be a question that's growing, that's not shrinking here. I would think, I would have thought by this point it would have been, I can't say unanimous because everyone thinks differently, but I felt it would have leaked from a lot of individuals tight to the draft that, if so-and-so gets him, he's a DB. If so-and-so gets him, he is without question a cover. We haven't heard that yet. We still don't know what's going on. So, you look at these top 5 teams, you could have New York saying, we absolutely are going to play you at corner. And the Patriots, we're absolutely going to play you at corner. Jacksonville right now, who knows? They may be thinking, we're going to spread them all over the football field in the Liam Cohen offense. He's going to be an every down wide receiver. And you know what? Maybe a package here, a package there, we'll put him in dime coverage. Or we'll put him in some nickel coverage. Makes you wonder. But we just don't know the answer to those questions. But this is why it is just so fascinating this year. And, I love the approach. I think there's going to be not desperation, but I think there's going to be movement because there seems to once again be a real belief that there's only a few difference makers who are going to be drafted. And Travis Hunter is one. We've talked about all these first-round grades. We've talked about the range from 20 to 80, which to me is just mind-boggling. that you can have 60 prospects, that there's not that much of a difference. That's shocking to me. And doesn't mean it's correct. I mean, someone of the Jaguars could be listening to that right now and could be laughing down the road saying, what? 20 to 80? Are you kidding me? It's not even close. But that has been talked about, right? We've had guests on who have said things exactly like that or in a very similar situation. I've always, for the most part, maintained that if you're a draft analyst, you're a draft scout, whether you are, a small independent company, very good at what you do, we bring you on, or you work for a major entity, that if you were really that good, you'd probably be working for a team, right? That's not always the case. But in a lot of aspects, it is. And the biggest one that I can think of lately, who got snatched up to run a team, failed miserably in Mike Mayock. And you could say what you want about Mike Mayock, but I miss him in his draft coverage. I thought he was outstanding in the years that he was with the NFL Network. All right, opening comments tonight and every night brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. Technology and cataract surgery. Don't be dazzled into paying for laser-assisted cataract surgery. Excellent outcomes can be obtained without costly and unnecessary add-on charges, okay? Cataract surgery is very expensive. There's no question about it. There are several different ways you can approach this. That is why you need to sit down and make an appointment today with Shmunez Vision. They'll show you exactly how you can save money. While you're there, allergies, what a massive problem it is right now for so many of our listeners. Pollen or whatever it may be. Get yourself checked out. Your eyes itch, your eyes are red, your face may be puffy, whatever. It could be something as simple as whatever they prescribe for you. But take advantage of this at Shmunez Vision. Feel awful for anyone out there who's dealing with things that are difficult when it comes to allergies. Check them out online. Go to Shmunez Vision. You can also go to Instagram, get all the testimonials there from folks who have been with them for quite some time at Shmunez Vision. All right, we're jam-packed tonight. John Osher in 40 minutes. He was at the NFL's owners' meetings. We'll talk to the Onos coming up to begin our second hour. Rafael Esparza is going to give us the very latest on Florida and Auburn. Where is the money gone? We'll also take a look at Houston and Duke, and what he believes will happen with the money if we do get a Florida-Duke final coming up on Monday night. But let's begin with our buddy Jeff Kerr. He's with CBS Sports. He's put some good stuff together as of late within the world of the NFL, and he is up next as we get things cranked up on this Wednesday edition.
When sports news breaks and you need to know, there's just one place you need to go. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Neck pain, back pain, or headache, Shinatri Chiropractic has 4 locations: Westside, 103rd, Riverside, Arlington, and the Beaches. Acupuncture, dry needling, physical therapy. Relief starts today. Shinatri Chiropractic, 743-6700.
When the unexpected happens, you shouldn't have to face it alone. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we're here to fight for you. Whether it's an auto accident or a slip and fall, our Jacksonville team takes care of every detail, from investigating the incident to securing multi-million-dollar verdicts, so you can focus on getting better. And remember, you don't pay a dime unless we win your case. Our commitment is 24/7, bringing you the real support from real people who really care. Campione Law, your dedicated partners in justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione Law.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner. With honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
All right, it's Ballou. Let's get real for a minute. Losing weight isn't exactly easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food at every event imaginable. Believe me, I get it. But thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down 10 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, and never hungry. This isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great, even when I'm out on the road. Here's the beauty. Awaken 180 gives you the game plan to handle real-life situations. I've been hitting plenty of events lately, temptation everywhere, and I've managed to stay on track effortlessly. That's huge. 10 pounds down, energy way up, hunger totally controlled. So if you're tired of carrying around extra weight, tired of diets that don't work, it's time to check out Awaken 180. Take it from me, Hacker, Dempsey, Hayes, basically everyone. It's easy. It works and it's real. Do what we did and choose the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass. He told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better. If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it and send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. Max Fink here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Tonight's show brought to you by the good folks. Alexander Law Practice. Personal touch. You know, you're injured no matter what the situation may be, including a car crash. What about the individual attention that so many people desire? It's my buddy Rick Alexander. All right? He has made it his mission to fight for you, and he's done so for over the last 30 years. His team will focus on guiding you through the entire process, get you the best possible result. And you know what? You're never going to come out of pocket, right? The way these things work, fees, reimbursement, always happen at the end of the case. You don't have to pony up anything. That's on the Alexander Law Practice. It's another reason why if you've been injured, car crash or whatever, you need to set yourself up today for a free review. Here's the number, 400-6600, local. 888-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com. Owners meetings wrapped up last night, early today, depending when you got out of Palm Beach. And it was a very interesting couple of days with the NFL owners. Let's bring in CBS Sports' Jeff Kerr, does an outstanding job covering the National Football League, and he goes into the night with Rick Ballou. Jeff, how you doing?
Rick, what's going on, my man?
Well, it's busy. It's tough to believe the draft is 4 weeks from tomorrow night, but I thought the NFL owners meetings were pretty intriguing this year, and I like what you wrote. We all want more football. There's no doubt about it, but I wonder about the greed and the safety. I mean, they talk now about an 18-game schedule. What are your overall thoughts as to when you believe this will actually come into play?
You know what, Rick? I don't think it's going to be in 2025, obviously. That's way too soon. And we have to remember there is a collective bargaining agreement that needs to be altered. And what do we have now? I think 6 more seasons of labor peace. I would expect that CBA to not be altered within the next year or two, but I think they're going to be in negotiations for that. And as you know, Rick, it's going to be a 20-game schedule. It's just going to be 18 regular season games and 2 preseason games. But I'm thinking maybe 2027, 2028, just in time for those new TV deals to kick in and for the NFL to opt out of their current TV deal.
Yeah, safety's the biggest concern, and they continuously talk about trying to make this game safer, whether it's CTE or lower body injuries. But when you play more games, you're going to have more injuries.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more Thursday night games, international games. We're expected to get 16 of them. We're going up to 8 this year. You guys in Jacksonville know the rigors of playing an international game or 2 every year. So, yeah, it's crazy how the league preaches player safety. They want to ban the tush push. We already know that. But it's funny how they preach it, but yet let's have more games to the schedule. Let's do something that the players themselves do not want. And look, I get it. They want to go to 18. I think I always thought when they went to 17, they were eventually going to go to 18 anyway. But I don't know. I'm in favor of an 18-game schedule as long as there's no Thursday night football, Saturday night football. But we're going to get that anyway.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And you pointed it out, the collective bargaining agreement in place for the next 6 years. You can always make an inclusion, come in and agree on both sides. But you're going to have to pay these players. They get paid weekly during the NFL season. They're going to want a paycheck for that 18th game. And, what about advancing the roster? I know they made changes when COVID came in 4 years ago. But if you're going to play an extra game, shouldn't you have more players available each and every week?
It's a 53-man roster now on game day. But if you count the practice squad, it's a 69, 70-man roster. Why don't we just count practice squad guys and put them on the game day roster still? Or why not we go a little bit crazier here and maybe expand that 70-man roster to 80? Now, I know that would hurt like a minor league like the UFL, but I don't think the NFL cares about that anyway. Mm-hmm. But if you have a 70-man roster with a 10-man practice squad, all of a sudden you're deeper on the offensive line, you're deeper on the defensive line. And as we've seen before, like the practice squad guys, they can play in the NFL, but just not at the level of, say, a Brian Thomas Jr. or an A.J. Brown or, a Josh Hines Allen or someone like that. We're combining both the teams we cover here. But we need more depth in this league, and we just don't have it right now. And I think that all starts at the college level, but we definitely need to expand these rosters. I mean, if you're going to go 18 games, 53 is too much, especially if you're going to be playing short weeks.
Jeff Kerr, our guest, he is with CBS Sports. He goes into the night with Rick Ballou here on your home of the Jaguars. I like what you wrote recently about 5 quarterbacks with the most pressure to now win a Super Bowl. Of course, it just happened with Jalen Hurts, but you have, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott. Noticeably absent is Trevor Lawrence, and I want to get your opinion because there's pressure on those 5 to take it to the next level and finally win it, where with the new brass coming in here to Jacksonville, the biggest decision that they have to make or overcome is that there was a comfortable feeling here in town with losing. How hard is that going to be to overcome?
The hardest thing to do is create a winner and sustain a winner. And you guys know this from the 2017 Jaguars. They were on the verge of having that miracle season, right? They were They had the Patriots beaten in the fourth quarter. They just didn't complete the task. And that Doug Marrone team, they went downhill after that. And they had some talented players on that. Look, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars can win with Trevor Lawrence. It's just they have to build a good team around him. And I actually said this to Hacker, I think it was a couple weeks ago. One thing the Jaguars can hang their hat on is they got their first-round pick right last year. Brian Thomas is a stud. So Trevor Lawrence got that number one wide receiver. I think Travis Etienne can play. I do think they have to fix the offensive line. We'll see what they do with Trayvon Walker. But they have a core piece in Josh Hines Allen on defense. I think that's the number one thing right now. Jacksonville has to get that defense fixed. If they can do that, maybe Trevor Lawrence doesn't have to do so much or carry this organization on his back. I mean, look, they named the stadium after him for a week, for crying out loud. So, yeah, there's pressure on Trevor Lawrence to win, but you have to win first to get to that pressure of winning a Super Bowl.
Jeff, what were your thoughts on a 34-year-old James Gladstone, first-time general manager as well as a first-time head coach coming over from Tampa in Liam Cohen?
You know what? I said to Hacker the other week, too. I really like the Liam Cohen hire. Now, they didn't officially hire him yet. I think it was during that time where he said he wasn't going to take the job unless Trent Baalke was fired or something like that. You guys know more than that than I would. But, you know, I thought Liam Cohen was a good hire for them. And look, I like how they have a completely young staff. It's like you said, James Gladstone's 34. It just seems like they're trying to, okay, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. We brought in a Super Bowl winning coach. It obviously fell flat on their face. Let's try the young group. Let's try to find the next Sean McVay or the next whatever, you know, the next group of young coaches. And it seems like Liam Cohen's one of them. It seems like what's the offensive coordinator's name he brought in? Can't think.
Grant Udinski, young guy, only 29.
Yeah, that's it. And look, you know, from what I've heard, he could be a head coach down the road. But Gladstone, I think he's going to be an aggressive general manager at some point. I just think right now it's getting Jacksonville back on track. And, you know, we've seen in the AFC South, it's a very winnable division. I mean, Houston wasn't anything to brag about last year. Tennessee's rebuilding. The Colts, you don't know what direction they're going in with Anthony Richardson or who their quarterback's going to be right now. So, I mean, is it crazy to think Jacksonville can win 8-9 games next year?
No, I don't think it is at all. And I think that they dodged somewhat of a bullet yesterday by the announcement coming in that they're going to table wild card teams with better records to have the home field over divisional winners, because you nailed it. I mean, you can win the AFC South with 9 wins. All right, Jeff, final question for you. What do the Jaguars do at number 5?
Man, this is tough. You know, I think they would love for a player like Abdul Carter to fall to 5. I don't think that's going to happen because you pair him with Josh Hines Allen. All of a sudden, you're getting a lot of pressures on that side of the ball. You know, you figure Cam Ward's going to be taken. Shador Sanders is going to be taken. You're not going quarterback anyway. So I think that helps them. I don't see a reason to move down in this draft, but they're the wild card at 5. To me, man, it's really going to be tough because I feel like in this draft there are some top-end guys available, but they're just not at the quarterback position. But that may help Jacksonville because the Giants need a quarterback, the Browns need a quarterback, the Titans need a quarterback. So all of a sudden, you're getting that premium player at 5, and I don't think you trade down. So I'll tell you what, somehow Abdul Carter would make it to 5. I doubt that's going to happen, but he would. You'd figure Gladstone's running to the podium, right?
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, it's either he or it's Travis Hunter if he falls. And, you know, I guess the convenient pick around here, or the one that has been mentioned most, is Mason Graham, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, Mason Graham's a stud, too. I really like it. But here's a question for you, Rick. If they draft Travis Hunter, do you play him at corner or do you play him both ways?
I'm going to play him at corner and put him on some offensive packages. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, because Jacksonville's got depth at receiver anyway, so it's not like you need him. But, yeah, I'll tell you what, if it's a dual card, Travis Hunter, and again, Mason Graham, I think he falls in that top 8 range as well. It does look like they're going to get a pass rusher pretty high up in this draft.
Yeah, we'll see. Jeff, always a lot of fun. Thank you for the time.
Rick, thanks for having me.
Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports. Good stuff there. I enjoyed his articles, all which came from the NFL's owners' meetings, and the 5 quarterbacks with the most pressure to win a Super Bowl. Not even a glimpse of Trevor. I mean, he's 22 and 38. You can't put that on him. You can't put it on a team that just won 4 games. right? I've always said Buffalo's never going to win a Super Bowl. They're snake bit. Never knew that there were venomous snakes in Buffalo. It's so freaking gold. But apparently there are. It's not going to happen, right? Joe Burrow, I think there's a chance. I really do. Lamar Jackson, I think there's a chance. I really do. Jared Goff, man, Detroit didn't show up in the month of January. They're still arguably the best team in the NFC. Arguably. Dak Prescott, well, you can put all the pressure you want there. That's never going to happen, okay? And it's not necessarily all Dak Prescott's fault, but that's not going to happen in Dallas. So why isn't Lawrence, or will Lawrence enter this list as early as a year? Could. Frankly, he should. I mean, that's where the elevation needs to go, where we're talking about, can this man win a Super Bowl? Not, can this man win a game? And that's where we are. And that's what this organization is trying to figure out right now, how to make this football team that much more competitive, that much better. So Trevor Lawrence begins to show the amount of ability that he's been given. And he hasn't. He's been very underwhelming in his career. Somehow I got tagged on Twitter. Is it ML Football? Do you know what it is, Dylan?
Yeah, I think that's one of those aggregate accounts that's not, I don't think it's a real account, but I see it. They post stuff like it's a real account.
So a human being's not running it?
No.
It's like, what, some form of AI or something?
Yeah, something.
Well, I get tagged on it all the time. So it's like, I'll be doing whatever, watching the game. All of a sudden, I'll pick up my phone, and I'll have like 7,000 replies, and I'm like, oh boy, what did I do? And I did nothing. I just got tagged. But last night, it came out with is Trevor Lawrence a bust? And Jacksonville has his back, the majority of those on Twitter. But people across the country, without even thinking about it, the majority are, yes, it hasn't worked out. Some go on and explain that he needs better teammates around him or whatever it may be. But I think the feeling here is a lot more kind than it is throughout the remainder of the country when it comes to your quarterback. And that's all that should matter, by the way, is his support group, the inner group, the new group, about getting him ready to hopefully take off. It did come out yesterday when Liam Cohen spoke that the surgery that Trevor Lawrence had, the left shoulder labrum surgery, everything is where it's supposed to be. He's set for the offseason program. He's begun to throw just a little bit. Obviously, we're talking about the surgery on the left shoulder, not his throwing right shoulder. So you're all aware of that. That's good news, no doubt about it. All right, let's continue on. Let's get you involved with the program. 641-1010 text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. We want to welcome you as well listening tonight on 1010XL into the night on YouTube. Always good to see you folks. Railman CT says hello, Rick. He's always our leadoff hitter. He's like Ricky Henderson. He's the greatest of all time when it comes to YouTube into the night. 1010XL. Also on Twitter, Ballou 1010XL.
Go full throttle for a photo finish.
Look at this! Whoa!
Sunday at Darlington.
Checkered flag is out.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL.
This is Dr. George Bari inviting you to look online at BariOrthopedics.com for the latest in medical advancements when it comes to getting you back to full joint health. After studying under Dr. James Andrews, I know proper diagnosis is the first key to treatment, and educating the patient is the fastest path to recovery. Whether it's chronic back pain, nagging arthritis, or necessary joint replacement, we're here to serve you in the best possible way. We are Bari Orthopedics and online at BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 2nd, 2001, New York Yankees pitcher Roger Clemens becomes the American League all-time strikeout leader, recording his 3,509th strikeout in a win over the Kansas City Royals.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
You're shrimping a bag.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark tonight at 7:05. Its charity begins at home featuring Connect Church. Then it's Thirsty Thursday and fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Mia here, and let me tell you about one of our area's best resorts, the Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa. The Sawgrass Marriott is not only a great destination for a vacation, but it is also a great destination for dining on the Florida's first coast. 1912 Ocean Bar and Rooftop is now open on Ponte Vedra Boulevard, featuring Ponte Vedra's only oceanfront rooftop bar and lounge. Serving finely crafted cocktails and delectable eats, it's open daily from 4 to 10 with complimentary valet parking.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
With you tonight till 8 o'clock, John Osher coming up at the top of the hour. He was at the NFL's owners' meetings. So we'll have the very latest there from John Osher. Thank you to Jeff Kerr. A lot of reaction. 5901 says Ballou Tua should be on that list. And I responded and I said, okay, yeah, but behind Trevor. And he says, nah. He's definitely in front of Trevor. Really? I mean, this city would get flipped upside down if you traded Trevor Lawrence for Tua one-on-one. Am I wrong? I know he's got more pedigree than Tua, and you can certainly make the case that Tua has had better talent around him, especially at wide receiver. But Tua over Trevor? I'm not going to agree with that at all. And there are quarterbacks, absolutely, that I would put ahead of Trevor Lawrence. Tua is not one of them. The other one is on this 18-game schedule. Here's a direct quote from Roger Goodell. We'll continue to analyze it. We'll continue to discuss it, obviously, with the players. Well, I'll do our work on that. I love it. He's like, well, I'll do our work on it, okay? A lot of these things affect whether or not you should go to 18 with all the health and safety issues. End of quote. Let's be perfectly clear about this. If you go to an 18th game, there's going to be more health and safety issues. Period. Why try to cover it up? Why try to spin it? Why try to camouflage it? I mean, if you play more games, there's going to be more injuries. The fans still want it. Just come right out and say it. The owners want it. They get more money. The fans want it. They get more football. The only ones who don't want it are the players. Because players are going to understand that trying to stay healthy through an 18-game regular season is going to be very difficult. Then you have the playoffs. I mean, we went to 16 games back in 1978. And there was criticism then about going to 16 games. The 14-game schedule was working, and people liked it for what it was worth, okay? Then you went to 17 games in 2021, and it was accepted because you got more football, but I think what really stood out during that particular time was that 4 preseason games was way too long. And again, that is a total example of NFL greed. That is awful. You never played in those 4 preseason games. The only one who played in those 4 preseason games were ones who didn't make NFL rosters. And to charge the consumer the same amount of price as you do for a regular season game, it is. It's one of the biggest and most laughable examples of what NFL owners really think about their fans, the way that they've done that. So they've improved it. They've gone 17-3, and they're going to go 18-2. And again, the fans are going to love it. And that's going to be a big part of this, the approach coming in from the NFL owners about, hey, now you only have 2 preseason games a year. You get 1 at home, you get 1 on the road. We add an extra bye. You add an extra game. You have 2 more weeks of NFL football. There's not a fan alive who doesn't like it. You know who's going to have a problem with this? Non-NFL fans. Male or female. Another week of football, another week of you and your buddies watching these. Hell yeah, you're going to get 2 more weeks because you're going to have a second bye. And it's going to start right around Labor Day. And maybe the best part of this, if they schedule it right, and it was reported out of Palm Beach the last couple of days, you're finally going to have it played the Sunday before President's Day. God rest his soul, David Lamb is the first person I ever heard mention this, maybe 25 years ago, maybe even longer than that. It should be a national holiday the Monday after the Super Bowl. A lot of you are going to get it on President's Day. Not everyone gets President's Day off. Many of you do. So you can have your party. You can wrap up your year and have a holiday the next day. That's pretty cool. So everyone wants it. Well, just come on out and say it. Don't bring up health and safety issues because that's wrong. You don't care. You don't. You're only going to care if you lose a star player. That's the only time it's going to happen. And then the local media then will make a big deal about it. But if you're able to get through these games and stay healthy and move on, it's going to be a meaningless footnote. And this is why Roger Goodell, in my opinion, is one of the major reasons why he's so bad at his job. All he has to do is be honest. NFL, you can tell an NFL fan anything, and he'll buy it. Okay? I mean, why not come right out and say, listen, we're going to have 18 games, start at Labor Day, give you a holiday on President's Day, 18 games, 2 preseason games. We're going to make more money. You're going to get more football. However, there's going to be more injuries, and more star players aren't going to make it all the way through. Why not just be honest about it? What type of survey, what type of numbers is he going to pull up that support with more games equals less injuries? It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. Just say it. The fans will accept it. It's the price you pay. We know this. Any game. Just wish they'd be honest with you. You know, I understand there are times where maybe you stretch the truth or you embellish or maybe even just flat out lie. But not in this case because your audience, your fans are all in. I haven't heard from one person who's like, nah, please keep it at 17 games, 3 preseason. I don't want a holiday the day after the Super Bowl. This is not who's going to say that? I mean, this is unanimous as far as the support. The only people who can complain are the players. They need to be paid more. They have to bargain this collectively. And you need to expand rosters and change IR rules. Let's get ready for our second hour. I'll ask John Osher about this. Osher's a little bit like me when it comes to change in a lot of aspects. There are some changes I'm for. I'm for this. I just would appreciate the truth. All right, let's get ready for our second hour. John Osher will kick it off.
He's a Seminole that's still academically eligible.
Get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket.
Rick Ballou.
We're going to show this world a thing or two.
Evenings on 1010XL.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Are you 18 years or older? Just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Your yard starting to look a little like a jungle? Well, it might be time for a little TLC. Or how about RTC, Russell Tree Care? At Russell Tree Care, they give your trees the perfect haircut. Whether it's trimming or removing, they'll make sure your yard looks its best, all while keeping safety as a top priority. Call Russell Tree Care today and let them take care of your trees. Russell Tree Care, 844-4Mr. Wood. That's 844-467-9663. Or visit RussellTreeCareLLC.com today. Your trees will thank you.
ET here, and it's time for the Taste of Golf at TPC Sawgrass April 23rd. Join me for fine cuisine from chefs from the top golf clubs in our area. Craft cocktails, games, and unique auction items will be present. This is one of the most impactful charitable events in our area. Come network with a sophisticated audience who's passionate about golf and its values, while impacting the youth in our community. All proceeds benefit First Tee, North Florida. For tickets, go to tasteofgolf.com. Come on, somebody.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
What does your dream backyard look like? Hey, it's Joe C. and my friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can design an outdoor kitchen layout custom built to your taste and lifestyle. You dream it, they can build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Visit CSSOutdoor.com.
All right, it's Ballou. Let's get real for a minute. Losing weight isn't exactly easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food at every event imaginable. Believe me, I get it, but thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down 10 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, and never hungry. This isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great, even when I'm out on the road. Here's the beauty. Awaken 180 gives you the game plan to handle real-life situations. I've been hitting plenty of events lately, temptation everywhere, and I've managed to stay on track effortlessly. That's huge. 10 pounds down, energy way up, hunger totally controlled. So if you're tired of carrying around extra weight, tired of diets that don't work, it's time to check out Awaken 180. Take it from me, Hacker, Dempsey, Hayes, basically everyone. It's easy. It works and it's real. Do what we did and choose the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's time for Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Osher. Oh No's.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Served up by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Oh, you got to believe this was playing at Breakers in the lounge during the NFL's owners meeting. John Osher, of course, there. Senior writer, Jaguars.com. Am I lying, or was that the case there?
What's on? Oh, sure, this is there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a great area,
cutting
though.
a rug, as they used to say, right?
No doubt. South Florida, what a great place. Did you learn anything either way that either was compelling or that's the end of the road when it comes to the tush push?
Oh, I don't know if it's the end of the road, but I kind of think the tush push. I think what happened is I think people started talking and they're like, okay, we're going to punish the Eagles for having a play better than ours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's been a little bit of the Eagles are really the best team at it and the only team where it sort of feels like it's a, quote, unfair advantage. And I think the league kind of looks at it, it's always been a league that's slow to change. They don't want to have dramatic measures. It's sort of why the interference a couple years ago was such a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you sort of knew when they put it in that it wouldn't work. And they don't like egg on their face on something like that. So I think with the tush push, there's sort of a feeling of, once Jalen Hurts isn't the quarterback, and not that many quarterbacks can bench 3,000 pounds, this thing probably goes away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they sort of didn't want to set the precedent because the next time somebody comes up with something, then the Eagles come back and say, hey, whoa, why is that okay and ours wasn't?
No.
So you didn't want to have, they don't like setting that precedent, and they sort of like things going away more than them legislating it away. And I think they sort of want that to happen over time. But I think it'll come up again because it's such a weird-looking play that doesn't feel right to people. So I don't think it'll go away for good.
Yeah, I know they're going to reportedly get to it again in May, and there is some support. 16 teams reportedly as well are in favor of this. So it's tabled for now. Something else that was tabled, which I think does help Jacksonville in the AFC South at this particular time, that is the divisional winner still gets that first home playoff game, not a wild card team with a better overall record.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever change. I think it's always very vogue. It's been since I've been covering the league in '95. I can remember this coming up at least 3 times, maybe more than that. It's always talked about. And Rich McKay, the competition committee co-chair, who's very wise on this stuff. He's been on the competition committee since I can remember. Said it best. The traditionalists just don't. Among the owners, they want the home game. They want the division to have importance.
Mm-hmm.
And for every fan who says, well, getting in the playoffs is enough, that's not the way these guys think about it.
No.
They value a division title. They really value that home game for money. And they want that home game to have that appeal. And it takes more than half to get it. I don't think I'll be covering the league when that changes.
Yeah.
So I think it'll always be a headline grabber because unlike most rules, there's so many rules that are tricky to talk about and where you kind of get lost in it, like the kickoff rule. Well, it's no fun, Rick, to talk about a kickoff rule that changes 5 yards. That's boring. People check out on it. You can always get people to talk about seeding because it's very easy, and to some people it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I think it'll come up every 6-7 years, but I would just be surprised if that ever gets pushed through.
Since you mentioned it, they think it's going to double in return. They're talking 70, 75%. One of the few coaches who remains is Heath Farwell. He's done a wonderful job with special teams around here. Just the whole diagnosis of the kickoff now and trying to land that ball, let's say, right at the 5-yard line to force a return. It's going to be intriguing to see how teams handle this.
Yeah, I think it will have the interest that we all thought it would have last year. And they kind of missed it. And it's understandable you miss it because you're trying to get something so exact that it's hard to get it right the first time around. And I had talked to Heath about this, I forget when, training camp or early in the regular season. I said, you think they'll change it? And he said, sometimes they've changed rules during the season on things. I thought they might do that. And he said there just wasn't a push to do it. But they're desperate to add some excitement to this play without making it more dangerous. And it feels like that's going to be a thing. And it will make directional kickoff. It's one reason they drafted Cam Little. It'll make that sort of thing much more important. And I'm looking forward to it actually working because it was still boring last year. The thing I still wonder, Rick, when they're going to really take it out and dust it off. They've got to do something about onside kicks.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like they've been trying to get the kickoff right first. Because, again, the league is always scared to change how the game looks in a sports bar.
Yeah.
Meaning, they don't want it to look weird when you're flipping past it. They don't want it to look like a minor league. They don't, they want it to look like the NFL. It's why they're slow to change things. And changing that onside kick to like the 15-yard pass, the 4th and 18 thing that they always talk about, that's a huge change. But they got to do it at some point. The end of the game is so bad right now with the onside kick the way it is.
John Osher's our guest. He's back from the NFL's owners' meetings, and that, of course, was in Palm Beach. He joins Rick Ballou here each and every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. You get everything from John. Just go to Jaguars.com, where he is the senior writer. All right, you were busy. You met with Liam Cohen. You met with James Gladstone. James explained to you his definition of intangibly rich. What did you learn during your sit-down with the 34-year-old general manager?
Well, I learned that I'm intangibly curious, evidently, for asking the question. So, and again, I can't tell you how much I like Gladstone. I like both of them. Bastelli, I can take or leave. I've known him for 30 years, but the rest of them I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm.
But Gladstone's such an interesting guy, and he's clearly aware that some of his verbiage has sort of been, people are having fun with it. And I think he kind of likes it. I think all he cares about with that storyline is that the people that he's communicating with, meaning the scouts, meaning the coaches, they all get what he's trying to say. And I think they do. So I've enjoyed his sense of humor about these things. He knows the ecosystem's a thing. He's sort of willing to have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn that much from James when I talked to him Monday, just because there hasn't really been very much movement since the combine or since the free agent stuff, right? So I think he likes the acclimation. He likes where it's going in terms of getting people on the same page, getting ready for the draft. I didn't expect to learn much about the draft because even though James is 34, he's smart. He's not going to give anything away. But every time I talk to him, Rick, I come away more impressed and more confident. I think he's going to be really, really good because I think general managing is about communication. One thing I will say before we kick off, I got less need for the Ozone podcast this week, the general manager of the Rams. I usually don't promote our stuff on your show, but talking to Les Snead about James Gladstone, who he worked for 9 years, if people want to know about James and why he's the GM, Les was really, really good on that on Monday. And he also said some great stuff about Tony Bastelli's vision for the franchise. They talked a lot during the process, multiple times. I think it'll give people a really good feel for how people around the league are going to start seeing the Jaguars front office.
Yeah, and so look for that. Just go to Jaguars.com, and that includes Sean McVay, all the positive things he said, not only about Gladstone, but the things he said about Liam Cohen, who, of course, worked under McVay a couple of different times in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and I get, Rick, that it's all, some of the off-season struggles that we have, meaning us who are talking about it, right? People have heard all this before. There's been regime change, and you're resetting it again. But there is something about, I sort of kidded about Tony earlier. I've known him for 3 decades. I couldn't respect Tony Baselli more in terms of the job that he's doing within this, because these jobs are about communication, organization, and vision. The vision and the common sense that's being used with the Jaguars front office right now, Liam Cohen's included in this, it's really encouraging. It feels like they're doing things right. I understand the eye roll because people have heard me say it before, but this is an impressive bunch running this team right now.
No, there's no doubt. I mean, it just feels different, whether you're there in person like you are daily at the Miller Electric Center, or when I get the opportunity to be there, or things that you see from afar. It does. It feels like it's different. No doubt about it. Hey, John, always a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Rick, thanks, buddy. We'll talk soon.
There he goes. John Osher, ladies and gentlemen. Check that out as well with Les Snead at Jaguars.com. So a lot of positive remarks coming from Los Angeles. Les Snead on James Gladstone. Les Snead on Liam Cohen. Sean McVay. Talked about it at the beginning of the show. Brought up Liam Cohen, talking about Baker Mayfield. And, Dave Canellis had him a year ago before he went to Carolina, but Liam Cohen took over, and Baker was even better. Baker's coming off 2 really good years. And, went back to his time with Will Levis at Kentucky. I mean, that's a big part of this process, too. When you get to Trevor Lawrence, how much better can Liam Cohen make Trevor Lawrence? Whenever Liam Cohen talks, and we played the quote from you on, it was either Monday or yesterday, when he went on about the offensive line and said a lot of different things about the offensive line, but he was quick to point out how you coach the offensive line. And I think at times we don't get lost in it, but we get fooled by it. And that includes us all, because I really thought that Doug Peterson and the folks that he had could get the best out of Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not sure exactly what went wrong, but it became awful. And the same thing was said about Phil Rauscher. He was supposed to be the up-and-coming offensive line coach, right? Loud, mouth of a sailor, this and that. And I remember sitting down with him in his first year here when we get that one opportunity to talk with the position coaches about, what his best overall way is as far as his blocking schemes. And they weren't able to do that. But you get the feeling that with Liam Cohen, that's where coaching really comes in. And I mention it all the time because it was so important when it was said. But Cohen talking about the offensive line scheme a year ago that they put into place, and they weren't hitting, so you couldn't really tell. And then they had to change it literally on the fly once they began to hit. And then you take the comments that John Spytek said, the general manager now of the Las Vegas Raiders. Spytek, front office executive in Tampa Bay. And those two met, I don't know if it was in passing or if it was a conversation, but Spytek let out that information that Cohen said he didn't understand until he has left just how good Tampa Bay's offensive line is. 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 1 fourth-round pick. And there's only so much you can do at one time. But I really get the opinion that the offensive line for Liam Cohen, if it's not 1, it's 1A. I mean, it is right there with the quarterback. And you could probably say the same thing about the defensive line, winning in the ditch. Tampa's got a great defensive line, as we know, too. All right, let's get to you on the other side. Let's do that. 641-1010, a lot for you to choose from. We're going to check the money on the Gators. Gators, a big story with DJ Lagway, too. Maybe we'll spend a couple of minutes on that. Mark Long on our airways a little bit earlier today telling us that there are some concerns about the throwing shoulder of Lagway. So we'll hit on that. We'll come back, get you involved as well. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also on Twitter, Ballou 1010XL.
From Duval to the world,
all communication lines are clear.
Download the 1010XL apps for free on Apple and Android devices and listen wherever life takes you.
Ballou here for Spunez Vision. Why Spunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Spunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Spunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Spunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SpunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
It's the college basketball playoffs, and Hurricane Grill & Wings has slam dunk specials like $3.75 Miller Lite drafts with 30 bold wing flavors, ice-cold drinks, handcrafted cocktails, and big screens everywhere. Watch all the action at Hurricane Grill & Wings.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Now's the perfect time to order logo coffee mugs, or maybe a logoed stick brand tumbler. They're seriously ice-cold and look great with your company logo. HardballCreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 2nd, 2001, New York Yankees pitcher Roger Clemens becomes the American League all-time strikeout leader, recording his 3,509th strikeout in a win over the Kansas City Royals.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Pickett here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
Your Jacksonville Sharks are back and ready to take the field for the 15th anniversary season. The Drive for Five starts Sunday, April 6th as your Sharks take on the Las Vegas Nighthawks. Ask about special ticket pricing for all you sports teams at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Go Sharks! Prosser here. Sharks football is back. Come celebrate the 15th anniversary season this Sunday, April 6th, as the Sharks take on the Las Vegas Nighthawks in their home opener at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Already 1-0, the Sharks look to crush Vegas on Pirates and Princesses Night. Have some family fun and break out your best pirate hat or tiara.
We're not but humble pirates.
For tickets and special pricing for youth sports teams, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's jacksharks.com or 621-0700.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? Topdressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit topdressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with topdressing.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, rest in peace, Val Kilmer. He died today at the age of 65. Pneumonia. Man, he did a lot of good stuff, no doubt. A lot of people didn't like the Doors. Oliver Stone's Doors. I loved it. I thought he played Morrison perfectly. Loved him in Tombstone, where he played Doc Holliday. He was great as a character actor in Heat. Wonderland was maybe more of a cult type movie. He played John Holmes, the male adult star who was involved in the robbery and then the murders that took place in Los Angeles. Great movie there. Most people bring him up. I've seen Batman and Top Gun. Those are good, but there were so many others that I really enjoyed him in. 65 is just too young. My goodness. That is really a shame. And I guess I was aware of that he was dealing with some health issues. Haven't really seen him do much of anything lately. I'm trying to look the last time he actually did make a movie. I guess he was in the Top Gun Maverick in 2022, but perhaps that was his last movie. I'm not sure. Anything stand out for you as far as Val Kilmer? I know a lot of his stuff was done when you were a kid.
Yeah, you said he was in the movie Speed. Was that it?
Heat.
Heat.
No, not Speed.
Okay.
No.
Nah.
You got some good ones to watch.
Yeah.
Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro was outstanding. Professional robbers. And are there robbers and professional robbers? That's what I want to know. Because I just define them as professional robbers. I mean,
if you do it more than once, then you're a professional.
I've always believed that the best serial killers are those we don't know about because they've never been caught.
Right.
I don't know what it is when you're a robber or a professional robber. But yeah, Heat is really good. Wonderland. I mean, you've never seen The Doors.
Mm-mm.
Wow, you got a lot of living to do. You got some great stuff to go back on and watch. Those three movies right there, if I'm flipping around, I'm going to stick and watch. I just love those movies. But what a shame. Died today at the age of 65. Hey, let's get to Mark Long. He shook up northern Florida, and I think it'll end up shaking up the entire state once it fully does get out there. But, of course, he covers the Gators for the Associated Press. And a little bit earlier today, he was on with Hayes and Hacker and said this about quarterback DJ Lagway.
There is cause for concern regarding DJ Lagway. And anybody who doesn't see that, and anybody who's listening to Billy Napier and believing what they hear, I got some swamp land to sell them. Your quarterback is not throwing in spring practice in a developmental period where he's a freshman. This isn't a fifth-year senior we're talking about coming back for one more year. This is a guy who barely started half the season last year and is in a complete developmental, needs reps, needs time, needs all of that, and he's not getting it. He has a shoulder injury. It's enough of a concern that they're not playing him into critical off-season developmental time. That should raise a big red flag for Gator Nation.
Mark Long, earlier tonight on with Hayes and Hacker. All right, you do a Gator podcast after Gator football and basketball games. What do you make of this breaking news?
At first when he said this at the beginning of spring, I was like, yeah, it's a concern, but it's not that big of a concern. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at like a 3 or a 4, not so much an 8 or 9. And I'm still kind of feeling the same way. It does feel weird why Mark Long is the only person saying this, and nobody on the staff is saying anything about it. And the biggest thing to add more to what Mark Long is saying is the receivers, everybody would tell you that covers Florida, is the best group, the most talented group, and they've brought in a lot of young guys. Mm-hmm. And you got to build the timing with your quarterback. Well, your quarterback's not out there. It's hard to build that timing. And spring isn't what it used to be 15, 20 years ago. It used to be, a big part. And I'm not saying it isn't now, but I mean, you're seeing teams all across the country now. They're not having their spring game. Practices are a lot lighter, but still got to build the timing. So it is a concern, but it's not as much of a concern, I think, as Mark Long is making it.
All right, interesting. I'm an every rep guy, and my alma mater, you got two guys battling. You got Castellanos and you got Glenn, and they're splitting reps, and there's a competition, and I hate it. I hate everything about it. That's not the case over there. You got a guy that's a preseason Heisman Trophy candidate, and I agree with Mark with the point of he needs reps. This is an important part of the offseason where you can get on the same page with some younger wide receivers, with some newer wide receivers. What do you again, Mark's the only one who's reporting this, and Mark's been doing this for a long time, but what is the scare right now? If this guy goes through this month of April and doesn't throw, and then all of a sudden you're going into the summer, and this question lingers heading into the start of the regular season?
Well, he's saying it's a high school injury that they thought would go away by now. Remember, before the Miami game, he had a shoulder issue, and it was fine. So I guess it's lingered from high school and it's just never got fully healed. So hopefully it's one of those things where it kind of lingers, and hopefully it's good enough to where it doesn't affect him during this season. Then it gets next year, once the season's over with. He said that later in the interview. It didn't affect him at all last year, and it was never an issue during the season. The only issue he had was when he pulled his groin in the Georgia game.
No.
So
that was a big issue. Yeah, I mean who knows? Some people they knock off Georgia if he stayed in that game.
Many believe he would.
Well, this is a story we're going to track. This is big. I've already looked at preseason Heisman numbers, and Lagway is on it. And Florida is going to get a preseason top 15, top 12, somewhere in that neighborhood. I never know how these knuckleheads actually do vote. And, I'm looking at their road schedule. It's one of the most difficult in college football. You go to LSU, Miami, Texas A&M, Kentucky, and Mississippi. Those 5 on the road. And, of course, you have the neutral game here, which is on November 1st. Those are 6 really tough outs. Your home schedule is very winnable. Texas is going to be a tough putt, but Long Island University, South Florida, Texas, Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Florida State. Boy, they moved the Tennessee game way down this year, huh?
Nobody likes that.
November 22nd. What the hell happened there?
The people that make the schedule, they wanted to do it that way, and that's how they got it.
All right. So I take that back. Texas and Tennessee, very difficult opponents. You have the rivalry with Florida State, but obviously Florida much bigger and better right now.
And the Miami and LSU game are back-to-back, both on the road, week 3 and week 4.
Last year's schedule is supposed to be like the most difficult schedule that Florida's ever had. This doesn't look very kind either. This looks like a difficult schedule for the University of Florida. I mean, you can make a case that preseason top 25 teams, LSU, yes. Miami, yes. Texas, yes. Heck, those 3 could be top 10, top 15 teams. Texas A&M, yes. Georgia, yes. Mississippi, yes. Tennessee, yes. That's 7 top 25 teams. And truthfully, that could be 7, top 15 teams with a few of those in the top 10.
Yeah, the same schedule as last year. The only thing they did was they dropped UCF and added USF. So there's not much change. They switched the order around a little bit. It's still tough. You have to bring close to your A game almost every week. I mean, it's the SEC. You have to bring your A game almost every week or you're going to be losing a couple of these games. It's so weird. You look at the national championship odds. Florida's 15th. They have the 15th best odds to win the national title, and yet they're over under 6.5. That doesn't add up.
No, I mean Florida State right now 7, and Florida 6.5. Again, you look at it when you just mention both teams. In my opinion, you form an opinion, right? That's just the way it's always been. And you're not going to find anyone right now who's going to say that Florida State is a better football team than Florida. Yet, right now, Florida State, the latest odds are 7.5, and for Florida, it's 6.5. Real quick, for those of you, before our break here, and we bring in Rafael Esparza, we're going to stay on the Gators and ask him about where the money's gone for the Final Four. But Florida State opens up in God's country with Alabama. They're already like an 8.5-point underdog there. All right? Then you get East Texas A&M and Kent State. At Virginia. Miami at home. Pitt at home. Way out to Stanford. And when their basketball team was rolling, doing some pretty good things, they went out and played Stanford and Cal on the road and just really embarrassed themselves. That is a long, long trip. The Gators just dealt with it when they went out there and played in San Francisco during their regional. Again, on paper, it looks easy, but it's not. Wake Forest, at Clemson, home with Vatech, and then at NC State and at Florida. So they did the same thing to Florida State. Used to have Cupcake City or whatever it would be. They go on the road before they go to Florida. That'll be 2 straight on the road. Florida State wraps up the year with 3 of 4 on the road. At Clemson, at NC State, at Florida. 1 home date, which will be against Virginia Tech. So not nearly as tough as Florida, but still, I mean, you look at top 15 teams. Alabama, Miami, Clemson, Florida. That's 4. We'll see if any other team sneaks into the top 25. I don't know about an NC State or a Vatech or a Pitt or something along those lines. It could happen. But we'll have to wait for the voting process. We're months away from football. Haven't talked about the college game in a little bit, so just wanted to give that a few minutes of time. All right, we got much more to do tonight, and that does include our friend Rafael Esparza. Let's check the very latest as far as the money on the Final Four on the other side.
The plot begins to thicken. Now, I can't be specific about the heroes and zeros.
Jeff Prosser, Mike Demps, Fat Tony, Joe C, Hacker, Matt Hayes, Leon Searcy, Frank French, Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, Rick Ballou, 1010XL.
Call the deck guys if you want a brand new deck pavers or more. Call 904-813-2474.
TheDeckGuysJacks.com. Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, get $300 off all windows or $825 off patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires April 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Tired of supermarket produce that's traveled thousands of miles before you get it? Treat your family to farm-fresh, Florida-grown fruits and veggies delivered right to your home with Doorbell Farms. No supply chain issues or questionable origins, just seasonal produce hand-picked from local farmers. Subscribe monthly and enjoy the best local farm produce delivered right to you. Sign up now at doorbellfarms.com. Connecting real people to real family farms. Doorbellfarms.com.
Join me, Max Fink, as I keep a close eye on everything that happens in Gator Nation.
The Gator Report, polished up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gator!
Florida heat is no joke. Is your air conditioner ready for it? At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we've got a crazy offer just for you. We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. One of our expert techs will come look at your AC unit and make recommendations to ensure it's running at peak performance. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Before you buy that diamond ring at one of those mega national chain jewelry stores, get a second opinion and save money at Beard's Diamonds.
We will beat anybody's price anywhere.
Meet John Lupo, owner of Beard's Diamonds, the town center's only locally owned jeweler with international connections.
We go directly right to the cutters. There is no middlemen, no wholesalers. It goes from the cutter to the consumer.
And John says Beard's selection is second to none.
You'll walk in the store and you'll see more diamonds, more bracelets, more earrings than anywhere in Jacksonville. I guarantee it.
And at Beard's Diamonds, you get a lifetime warranty and a nationwide price protection guarantee.
You can buy with confidence at Beard's. Everything comes with a money-back guarantee, and we will make sure you're 100% satisfied. We stand behind everything all the time.
All this plus no commission salespeople and a total no-pressure experience.
We want you to be a Beard's customer, and we'll do anything to get it.
Beard's Diamonds, a refreshing alternative to mega chain jewelers.
Everybody gets a good deal at Beard's.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, a lot going on today, no doubt about it, including the very latest involved with the NFL's owners' meetings, which have now been completed. Really, the two biggest things will be those that are tabled. That is the tush push. They need another 8 votes, reportedly. 16 right now out of the 32. You're going to need 24 in order to get the 75%. So I think there's a real chance that that could happen in May. The other really affects the Jaguars, and that is wild card teams with a better record getting a home playoff game over a divisional winner. Jacksonville has been in that situation before where they've won 9 games and still have had the opportunity to host. I don't think that will change. I think there's something for the 8 divisions and the champion within each and every one of those 8 champions. Finally, Mason Graham visiting the Pats and Saints. Again, the Jaguars reportedly are not going to bring in any of these prospects to interview in person before the NFL draft. That's a little odd, but that is what the new brass is going to do. How about the Diamondbacks? They are just spanking the New York Yankees right now. Beat them a night ago, up early here, 4-0 over New York. And Rafael Devers, this number is frightening, okay? I read it yesterday. 585 at-bats one season for Tony Gwynn. He only struck out 15 times. Do you realize in the first 19 at-bats this year for Boston's Rafael Devers, he struck out 15 of those 19 times. And he's 0 for 2 tonight. Not a strikeout, though. He's fouled out and grounded out. Still doesn't have a hit. He's 0 for 21. You think the Alex Bregman situation has affected him as he's no longer playing third base. All right, it's been chalk in the NCAA tournament, as we know. All 4 number 1 seeds, and that, of course, does include the Florida Gators. Let's get the latest from our buddy Rafael Esparza.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
All right, just because we got the 4 number 1s doesn't mean they all necessarily covered with each and every one of the 4 games that they've played. So with that said, overall, what type of tournament has it been for the books?
Has not been kind for the books. I always been telling people the NFL draft is what I call it, NFL Customer Appreciation Day, because the books lose every NFL draft. This college basketball tournament has pretty much been equal to that. The books winning maybe a small handful of days. Has not been kind with favorites and over. Right now, they're big Auburn fans. I think they make the most money if Auburn cuts down on us.
All right, Auburn. Around here, depending on who you talk to, they think Auburn's got a chance to win this game. But, what do you make of Florida within the last couple of minutes? I mean, they can be down 10. They can be down 9. It's almost like they're a team that plays out on the, on the pavement and just does whatever they want to do. I still can't get over that, their performance this past Saturday night.
I think if you're Florida, you need a little bit high pace game. Maybe go over the total at 159.5, 160. Don't forget they put up 90 points at Auburn. I think it was in early February. So they're not afraid of them. But if you're Auburn, your defense needs to be the key on winning this game. Holding Michigan State to 64 points, holding Michigan to 65 points. If you're Auburn, you need an ugly game, because if it's a high pace game, I think that's when Florida can maybe pull away.
All right, yeah, I look at the total here. It's 20-some-odd points lower, maybe 25 points lower in the Houston-Duke game. We know Houston, when they're on, they have a suffocating defense. Most are picking Duke here, but where's the money gone so far?
It's all Duke, because I think people know Cooper Flagg. People know these freshmen that are just putting up ridiculous numbers. Cooper Flagg had I don't want to say a horrible game, but a mediocre game, and they still won and covered and beat Alabama by 20 points. They're 4-1 against the spread in the NCAA, or 3-1 against the spread in the NCAA tournament, and they have Cooper Flagg. The one interesting thing is the betting market is betting it over. There's one prop bet that I like that you can bet both teams to score 63.5 points in this game. Duke has hit this number 37 out of 38 games, and Houston, surprisingly, with their defense, have hit this number in 9 out of their last 10 games.
Wow. All right. Interesting stuff there. Most believe it's Duke in Florida. The number's going to be somewhere around 4.5 favoring Duke?
Yeah, and it'll probably get bet up to a solid 5. This is why if you like Duke, bet it now. Would not shock me. This is the late game on Saturday. Would not shock me if we see 6.5, 7 Duke in Houston, just like the national champion. If it's Duke, the Dookie money will come in. Dookie money always comes in. I think grab it right now. The networks do not want a Houston-Auburn final.
Yeah. Are you doing anything with these home runs, particularly with the New York Yankees?
Not yet, but I did put out a prop bet yesterday, and I got a little backlash on it from, of course, U.S. books, because they're so anal and they hate me for putting up prop bets that they can't put up. What would be banned push first, the tush push or torpedo ban?
Ooh.
I mean, tush push minus 240 favorites. I just don't think even if everyone hates the torpedo bet, I just don't see them pulling it out of the lineup until after the season's done. And the one thing I learned in the 90s watching baseball, chicks dig the long ball. I think torpedo bats might be here for a while.
Yeah, the tush push is coming up again in May. They're going to, they tabled it in Palm Beach, but they're going to re-look at it in May at the next version of the NFL's owners' meetings. But I just don't know, if enough people aren't using these bats yet. I mean, as much as we talk about the Yankees, I think, 4 or 5 of their everyday players are actually using these bats.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't see it being banned anytime soon. If everyone was playing it and they were hitting home runs left and right, yes, they scored one day last week, 155 runs were scored in the game. And I'm thinking, wow, that must be close to a record. No, 1963, 222 runs were scored in a whole baseball day. So we're not even getting close to record runs being scored.
Yeah, no doubt. Raphael, always a lot of fun. Thank you, sir. We'll do it next week.
Take it easy. Have a great weekend.
There he goes, Raphael Esparza, giving us the very latest from Las Vegas. How about the Atlanta Braves? They're 0-6.
Only winless team.
Only winless team in Major League Baseball. What a battle it's going to be this year. I still think L.A. has too much pitching. But when you look at San Diego and Los Angeles, and they both have Murderers Row, I know that Freddie Freeman said yesterday he hopes to be in the lineup tonight for the finale against the Atlanta Braves after slipping in the shower. And he missed both Monday and Tuesday's ball game. But, yeah, the Braves, the only winless team so far in Major League Baseball. Texas off to a really good start. I mean, Boston actually pitched well in their 4-game series against Texas, but their starting pitching and the bullpen just too much to overcome. Right now, the Rangers off to a really good start. And, of course, it's all about the New York Yankees, even though Toronto at this particular time has the best overall record in the American League East at 5-2. Let me double check here and see what's going on with the New York Yankees. At last look, they were trailing 4-0, and that is the case here in the third inning. All right, before we bring in our buddy Hacker Nation, just to give you the very latest, Florida on Saturday night, they're favored by 2.5. The total is 159.5. That is the very latest. We'll see if there's more movement, but it's a one-possession basketball game, the Gators and the Tigers. Now, Houston and Duke is really interesting. You just heard Raphael Esparza say all the money's going on Duke. They're such a public team that 4.5, if you want to play it, you're probably wise to do so now. More money's going to come in here the remainder of the week and certainly Saturday before the game. But that total is 135 and a hook. I mean, you compare that to Florida at 159.5. And I've seen Florida and Auburn with some 160s. So, I mean, a 25-point overall reduction in total points during a Final Four. You would have to do some serious research here. And I probably should ask Raphael this question, but that's got to be the biggest discrepancy between two games in a Final Four. 25-plus points, the total. But that's what it is. They think Houston's going to play some defense here in this game against Duke.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
I know you're not a big betting man, but we do talk about these lines, especially when we get into the playoffs or, in this case, the Final Four. But a 25-plus point difference in the total between these two games on Saturday?
Yeah, it goes to show you what happens when you got two top 5 defenses going at it. Everybody talks about Duke's offense, which is great. They're, I think, number 5 nationally.
Nope.
Houston is the best defense in college basketball, so that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. That game will be much more enjoyable to watch if Florida wins. I get the vibe that if Florida loses, a lot of people around here won't care too much about Duke and Houston.
All right, you were on earlier today with Hayes, and Mark Long stirred up the hornet's nest a little bit.
Yeah, we might talk about that here in the opening segment. You know, to come on and I love Mark, and I think he does a really good job, but he's not afraid to throw some stuff out there, and he'll tell you what he's heard, and I believe him. He's done this for a long, long time, and when he comes on a radio station and said, quote, I have heard that DJ Lagway needs shoulder surgery, well, that's going to get some attention. Mm-hmm. And look, here's the bottom line. Look at any media outlet over in Gainesville about spring practice. What have they all said? DJ Lagway is not throwing. They have not played a football game since December 20th. It's been 3.5 months. Why is your quarterback not doing any throwing in spring drills? I think there's some questions about that. And I think it's been overlooked, obviously, with what the basketball team has done. You know, football has kind of been an afterthought. But, yeah, I think, it's certainly cause for some concern.
Yeah. So you'll be covering that tonight. I was surprised when I heard that pulling in this afternoon. I was like, what is he saying? But we talked about it as well. I know you'll talk about it. What else you got coming up tonight?
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot of Gator football and Gator basketball. Obviously, Bill Bender of the Sporting News. I know you like trends. I got Max Barr, host of the Southeastern 16 podcast. Here's a couple for you for Saturday night. Florida's 25-0 when they have the lead at halftime this year in college basketball. This is an even better one. Florida is 24-0 when Denzel Aberdeen makes one three-pointer, makes at least a three-pointer. 24-0.
Those are frightening numbers.
It's really interesting, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a Gator fan, you want Denzel Aberdeen to hit a three, and you want the Gators to be up at halftime because they're undefeated in those scenarios.
What's Florida when they're down by 7 or 9 points in the month of March? In the NCAA, I mean, they found a way in both those games to come from behind.
Well, they have a horseshoe. They have a horseshoe on their sideline. Yeah. All the luck in the world.
That's what's scary. That's what it is. I mean, they can fight their way back into this, and certainly I was asked today I picked Duke to win it all, but if I could change my pick right now, based on what I've seen Florida do down the stretch here, you got to look at them as a favorite.
It's curious you say that because I think I'm picking Auburn on Saturday night. I just think that. The way Florida's playing, the way Auburn's playing. Look, if Florida finds what they had in Nashville at the SEC tournament, it's a different story. You're not going to survive Auburn if you play like you did against UConn or Texas Tech.
Yeah.
It's much more about how Florida plays to me on Saturday than how Auburn plays.
Have a great show.
Thanks, Rick.
That's going to do it for us here tonight. We're back tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Thank you to Jeff Kerr for joining us, Rafael Esparza, John Osher. Good stuff. Dylan Denmark, our producer. My name is Rick Ballou. Have a great night. Enjoy everything that's going on. Do have a couple of good things already lined up for tomorrow's program. So hopefully it comes to fruition. And if so, it's going to be a lot of fun. That'll do it. Hackers up next. Again, my name's Rick Ballou. We'll talk tomorrow. Make that Thursday at 6 o'clock.